Should you invest in Erling Haaland's soccer cards? Is he now able to continuously prove his full potential at Borussia Dortmund in the German Bundesliga and the UEFA Champions League? And how will the fact that he's not going to compete with Norway in the Euro 2021 next year affect his investment potential? Let's discuss. Hey sports cards investors, and welcome to the second episode of the Soccer Card Investing Investment Potential Show. My name is Kilian. I'm super pumped to have you here again. And today we're talking about one of the most exciting prospects in soccer world. I would even say one of the most exciting prospects in football, in soccer history, in the center forward position. Such a big talent. His name is Erling Haaland, and today we are going to discuss his soccer card investment potential. Before we start this, I just really quickly want to point out again the different categories of the investment potential score. That is a score we are going to come up with after having talked about all the different categories and rating the prospect from 0 to 10. And after deep diving into your thoughts, the thoughts of this small community here on this channel, I realized that it's really a good idea to maybe differentiate between the short-term investment potential and the long-term investment potential, because there are some categories that are more short-term oriented and others are more long-term oriented. So what we're going to do now is to really divide the IPS into a short-term score and a long-term score, and after all come up with the full IPS. In practice, that means that first we are talking about his long-term IPS, the long-term investment potential score. And under the long-term IPS, I see the categories skills, his club recognition, his national team recognition, his consistency and injury history, and his brand value and value of the pitch as the most crucial factors. After that, we come up with a score of up to 50. And then we go on over to the short-term IPS. And for that short-term IPS, the categories club performance, national team performance, transfer rumors, PSA pop, and card value are the most crucial factors. So after all, we have 50 points for the long-term IPS, 50 points for the short-term IPS, and then a total of 100 points in a total score for the IPS in total. So without further ado, let's talk about the investment potential of Erling Haaland. And we want to start this out now with his long-term IPS, and more specifically talking about his skills. And I mean, this guy is just crazy, right? It's really Erling Haaland for me. It's just an absolute beast. It's such a pleasure actually, like to see him play, because he's like such an explosive player, such an explosive and athletic character on the pitch. It's really great to see, because he's so strong, he's tall. I mean, this guy is like 1.94 meters. He is really strong, but at the same time he's also super fast, which is surprising for his stature. That at the same time, like he's being so athletic on the pitch, and you see in his playing style there is this absolute willingness to score, this absolute willingness to win games, but more specifically talking about him to really score, like to make the final touches on the pitch and to bring the ball in the net basically. And you see that, like when he appears in the 16-meter box in front of the goal, he's such a clinical finisher. It's incredible. Like he's just 20 years old, but it seems like he's been in the game for decades with a whole lot of experience. So I really think this kid is special. He's also a hard worker on the pitch. And as I said, it's this absolute willingness to score and to win games that makes him so special for me, specifically, and considering that he's only turned 20 years old a few months back. It's just crazy for me. The only thing I would say that he can probably even improve in the next few months and in the next few years is his heading ability. I mean, considering that he's so tall and so strong, he even could be a bit more dangerous in the box in terms of his heading ability after corners and free kicks. I think there is even some potential to be even more crazily dangerous for the opponent. But after all, I would give him a straight 10 out of 10 for his skill set, no doubts about that. Second, let's talk about his club recognition. Well, last January, actually, he moved in the transfer window, in the winter transfer window. He made the move from Salzburg to Borussia Dortmund. Actually, I think for a pretty ridiculous fee concerning his market value. Is currently at 80 million. Yeah, he made the move for 20 million, and back then in January 2020 he already had a market value of 45 million. So I guess there was either some release clause or his contract at Salzburg was expiring to the upcoming year, I guess, to the upcoming season, not in the summer, because then probably Dortmund would have just simply waited and signed him for free in the next summer. But yeah, I mean, that was obviously a pretty good deal for Dortmund. I know that basically every European team was behind him, and Dortmund finally got the contract and could sign him. And I think, obviously, it has been a great move for him. I think Dortmund is really an exciting place to be for a young player. A club that really gives you the opportunity to unfold your whole potential. Really, really exciting lineup currently in the Dortmund squad. And yeah, I mean, he's now a regular starter in the Champions League. Dortmund is qualified for the Champions League. But obviously, you have to say and you have to emphasize that they are not like really starting in the Champions League with the ambition to win it, right? There are other favorites to win the Champions League title, like, for example, Bayern Munich. Or there are obviously like several English teams like Liverpool FC. Maybe Chelsea this year has a really strong side as well, even though they are pretty young as well. Real Madrid, obviously, I always have to consider Real Madrid. Barcelona this year, I don't see them that strong, but obviously they're so experienced that you also have to consider them always. But yeah, talking about Dortmund, they are not really like one of the favorites to win the title in the Champions League. So that's kind of a negative point here. And also, they're not really the favorites to win the German league either, the German Bundesliga. That is Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is a clear number one in Germany. It's every season it's the same, right? Dortmund, Leipzig, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayer Leverkusen. There are some teams behind Bayern that like try to get Bayern to struggle. But after all, mostly it's the experience and the pure quality of the Bayern squad that brings them the title. I personally hope that we will have some changes there in the German Bundesliga, so it gets more exciting for the fans to watch the matches. But still, it's a pretty exciting league, pretty competitive. Like I said, they are not really, they have the ambition to win the title, but they're not the favorite. So after all, Dortmund is obviously a big club, great fans, great international recognition, but it's some kind of a phase two, right? Like after Dortmund, there's still some phase that you can like increase probably your club recognition with some team in the English Premier League, for example. So in that sense, I would give him an 8 out of 10 for his club recognition. Next category, let's talk about his national team recognition. And that's kind of a bummer for me because Erling Haaland won't play with Norway in the Euro 2021. That's already decided. They didn't qualify for the tournament because they lost some game in the qualifiers against Serbia. And yeah, that's a bummer, of course. I mean, it's pretty sad to not see him on TV next summer in the Euro 2021 and competing with all the top stars at a super competitive high level. And yeah, it's even questionable for me if they will qualify for the next World Cup 2022 in Qatar. I mean, Norway right now, they have some kind of a golden generation, you could say, with players such as Ødegaard from Real Madrid, who is a huge challenge as well, super creative player. Haaland is obviously there. There's Alexander Sørloth as well, recently moved to RB Leipzig into the German Bundesliga. A big, tall and strong striker as well, really lines up well with Haaland. And there's also Berge, more like a defensive player. Playing in the central midfield in Norway. So they really have some strong generation right now, but I don't see them play like a major role in the major competitions such as the Euros or the World Cup. So he was born in Leeds, actually. Erling Haaland was born in Leeds, but then moved to Norway at the age of 3. And he could have probably played for England, and I'm so sorry for that, English football fans. But yeah, he picked the country where he grew up, and that says a lot about his character, obviously, but it's not good for his IPS. So after all, I would rate him a 5 out of 10 for his national team recognition. Next up, let's talk about his consistency and his injury history. So actually, about his injury history, there are no major problems you can see here at Transfermarkt in his injury history. I mean, he missed out on some games, but nothing really like spectacular. And talking about his consistency, like, it's incredible for me. Like, how consistently this guy is scoring and performing at the highest level at such a young age. I'm speechless. His performance at Salzburg in Austria. Now his performances for Dortmund in the German Bundesliga. He's performing outstandingly as well in the Champions League. And even for Norway, he's scoring on a consistent basis. So, it's pretty crazy. But you have to consider as well, and I think many people are forgetting that as well, it's really like too early to tell if he can prove that on a consistent basis over the next 10 to 12 years, because you have to consider that really this season right now is just his second professional season. I mean, he had some appearances back in 2018 when he was only 18 years old. He had like 3 or 4 matches maybe for Salzburg. Then we really had his breakthrough in the first half of the season in 2019, and then January 2020 moved to Dortmund, and basically it's just his second professional season so far. So I would be a bit cautious here. He has not yet proven that over years that he can deliver what he's showing right now, but what he is showing right now is quite impressive. So if he's doing that over years, that's a clear 10 for me, no questions asked. But since it's so early in his career and we can't really tell, I would rate him a 9 out of 10 in his consistency and the injury history. Next category, brand value and his value off the pitch. And that for me is quite funny because he seems to hate the media. I mean, there's even a video on YouTube. I think it's called Haaland Wasn't Made for Interviews. Highly, highly recommended. Please go on YouTube. I mean, you are on YouTube right now. But please, after this video, look this video up. It's so funny. It makes you cringe, to be honest. I mean, in that video, you will see he's just messing around with the reporters in the interviews. He seems really like to hate it. He seems to hate those interviews and playing the media guy, which is fine, right? Like, everybody has his character, and he seems maybe to be a bit more, media shy in that sense. And that also, that kind of makes him a brand of his own, right? Which is interesting. But you see that this guy, he just wants to focus on soccer and on his performances, which is obviously, it's great, but won't lead like to that iconic brand that is, for example, in like a Cristiano Ronaldo, right? So that's not really a case that I see for Erling Haaland in the future, which is why I would rate him a 6 out of 10 for his brand value and his value off the pitch. So in total, we now have the 5 categories for the long-term IPS, and Erling Haaland scores a 38 out of 50 for his long-term IPS, which is obviously pretty strong. And next up, we're talking about his short-term IPS, and we get this started by looking at his club performance. And this guy, Erling Haaland, has like just incredible stats, both in the Austrian Bundesliga and the German Bundesliga. And he's now proving that as well in the Champions League. I remember when he came from Austria in January 2020, everyone in the soccer forums, like Transfermarkt, for example, they were talking about him. Okay, he had some great statistics now in Austria, but can he prove that in a bigger league, in a more competitive league like the German Bundesliga, or is he even like at the level that he will be a regular starter for a side like Borussia Dortmund? And I remember at that time they even had Paco Alcácer as a number 9 in their team, but yeah, there was that escalated quickly, you could say. When Haaland arrived, Alcácer was basically gone and forgotten, I would say. Because Haaland arrived, and that only like in his first appearances already scored so many goals. I think he even holds some records here that nobody else has ever achieved. Yeah, he's the first player in Bundesliga history to score 5 goals in his first 2 games, which is ridiculous. And also the first player in the UEFA Champions League history to score 6 goals in his first 3 games. I mean, what can you say about this guy? 20 years old, or back then 19 years old, with such a performance. It's just incredible. So then when he delivered in the German Bundesliga, people again started to talk about him. Okay, he proved that now in the Bundesliga, but maybe Dortmund was facing some weaker sides in the league. Can he really prove that on an international level as well? And Dortmund at that time, they were facing Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. And in the first game for Dortmund in the Champions League with Haaland, they were facing Paris back in February. And what did Erling Haaland do? He scored twice. I mean, after all, Paris won the second leg 2-0. So yeah, Dortmund had to go home, and Paris went through to the final, finally facing Bayern Munich in the final, which Bayern won. But yeah, that really shows like he is able to perform on that level in like he has shown that in the German Bundesliga and the Austrian Bundesliga, obviously, and now also in the UEFA Champions League. So it's just incredible. Also, you have to emphasize that at Dortmund, he has some excellent creative players around him. Like there are really some complementary players for him that really create a lot of chances for him. Just thinking about players like Jadon Sancho, obviously, Jude Bellingham is there, Giovanni Reina, Marco Reus, even Mo Dahoud. It's pretty exciting to see so many creative players around him creating chances for him. Thorgan Hazard is another pretty exciting player in that sense, really creative, the younger brother of Eden Hazard. And yeah, you can see that right now. Last season in total, he had 40 appearances, scored 44 goals and 10 assists, which is obviously ridiculous. And he's continuing like that in this season with so far 9 appearances, 8 goals and 3 assists. So that is for me a clear 10 out of 10 for his club performance. Next up is his national team performance. And even there, he's playing strong. I think it's great. He fits really well with Alexander Sørloth up front. Like I already mentioned, that guy just moved to RB Leipzig. Exciting prospect as well. Really strong player, a tall forward with a lot of physique as well. Yeah, there's Ødegaard behind him from Real Madrid in more like a playmaker role for the Norwegian national team. So yeah, he so far has had 7 caps for the Norwegian national team, scored 6 goals, which is obviously super strong. So I give him a 10 out of 10 in the national team performance category as well. Next up is transfer rumors, and that's also exciting. I mean, this guy was just made for the English Premier League, and I think it's just a matter of time when like a huge offer is flying into Dortmund's mailbox for Erling Haaland. It's so obvious that every major team is behind him. I mean, you name them: FC Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, London probably as well. You have Real Madrid behind him. You have Barcelona probably interested in him. Tottenham Hotspurs, like you name them, right? Like he's interesting for every club in the world, basically. And it's a pretty safe bet that he won't stay at Dortmund forever. Another indicator for that is that recently he teamed up with Mino Raiola as his new agent. And Raiola is arguably one of the, or maybe the most popular agent and the most powerful agent in soccer world, and definitely one of the professionals with the largest network and the most powerful networks in the whole market. So yeah, he is well prepared for a world-class career and is going to be at a top 5 club very soon. I don't know how soon, but I can guarantee you that there will be transfer rumors in basically every transfer window. Maybe starting already this winter, although I think that would be a bit early, but it depends on his performances and on the market situation in general. But yeah, latest next summer there will be popping up new transfer rumors of other European top sides interested in him. So yeah, super excited for that. He's already valued at 80 million euros at Transfermarkt. So that's another thing that's pretty sure. When he's moving, it's gonna be a big transfer. So for his transfer rumors, even though there are practically none right now because we are not in the transfer window, it's so obvious that every major club has him on his list, so I would rate that a 10 out of 10 as well for his transfer rumors. Next up is his PSA Pop, and for that category we are looking at two of his most desired cards, you could say. The first one actually isn't a card, it's a sticker. It's his 2019 Fußball Bundesliga sticker from Panini, and you can see the PSA Pop on this is just 170, and out of those 170 graded stickers, they are just 48 graded at a PSA 10. I mean, obviously it's pretty difficult to grade stickers. You can easily damage them, and also the centering on them has to be perfect. So yeah, I think that's a really low pop count for such a popular prospect and such a popular player. And another Erling Haaland card that is pretty popular is his 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga. And looking that up on PSA, you only have a population report of 297 graded cards here, with 210 being a PSA 10. So comparatively a quite high percentage of those graded cards are graded at a PSA 10. But in total, I would say, like, for being such a popular player, it's a pretty low pop count still. So I would definitely give that a 10 out of 10 looking on the supply side here for his PSA Pop. And the last category for his short-term investment potential is his card value. And we're looking here again at the two most popular cards, which is first his already mentioned rookie sticker, the 2019 Panini Fußball Bundesliga sticker. And just recently had a sale for $1,126, and that's his peak as well. So right now, Erling Haaland is at his peak in terms of market value for that rookie sticker. And the other card is the 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga, which recently sold at $630 and had its peak a few weeks ago at $750. So considering here that Erling Haaland already reached so high prices, that really shows us that investors are really willing to spend a lot of money on this guy. And considering also the low pop count on the supply side for both of these cards, I think sky's the limit here, and it really depends on his future performances, of course, and at which club he's going to end up, how high this can be. But at such a young age, I mean, there's a lot of speculation in it, but at such a young age, so early in his career, already reaching so high levels in terms of his market value in the sports cards market, I think that's exciting because it shows the willingness of investors to really put money on the table for this guy. So I would give him a 10 out of 10 in his card value category as well. So in total, we come up with a short-term IPS here of 50, which is 50 out of 50, obviously a perfect score for Erling Haaland here. And in total, we have an investment potential score, an IPS of 88 out of 100, which is obviously super strong and is beating Kai Havertz, who we reviewed last week. So now that you know that Erling Haaland is potentially a pretty hot investment, let's dive deep into which of his cards you should look out for. And we're gonna start this by looking at his first true rookie card, which is actually not really a card, it's a sticker, and it's the sticker I already mentioned before. It's this 2019 Panini Fußball Bundesliga sticker, which currently is selling at PSA 10 graded for $1,126. And you also have to emphasize here that there are two different versions going around in the market. There's one with a white frame and one with a gray frame on the left side of the sticker. Considering here that the white frame is considered to be more valuable in the market, actually, probably because the print on this was lower than for the gray version. And with this sticker, I would really be aware of the supply situation here, because I know and I remember that Panini Austria, like Panini in Austria, offered a reorder option for Austrian collectors only a few months ago. So it was actually possible for collectors in Austria to go on the website of Panini and order the specific Erling Haaland sticker for their albums. And obviously, Panini does this with the intentions to support collectors, so they can really like order the sticker and put it into their albums, and they clearly state that as well on their website, that it's not to be intended for any other use than sticking it into your albums, meaning you shouldn't really resell it. But I mean, that's what happens, right? If there's an opportunity like that. I really didn't like it. And that's why I wrote an email to Panini asking if it's really like the same sticker, or if there's like some mark on it maybe that this is like a reorder sticker. And they confirmed me, no, it's actually the same sticker. I then went into a conversation with them and letting them know basically that they are kind of manipulating the market situation on the supply side for that sticker as well. And if they are aware of that, and if they potentially could stop that. And yeah, they were actually like not really aware of it. They just texted me back, yeah, we don't know why his value is going up so drastically. Probably because this player is scoring a lot of goals. That was actually what they responded me. So I just looked it up on the Panini website, and it's not possible anymore to order the Erling Haaland sticker if you're based in Austria, which is good, obviously, for the market. The supply now really is limited. But it wasn't just a few months before. But yeah, I would be super cautious with that, because you can't really determine, right, how many raw and ungraded Erling Haaland stickers are still in some boxes at households in Austria. So yeah, if you can get a PSA 10, if you can get your hands on a PSA 10 graded sticker from that collection, I think that's solid, because the PSA 10 pop count is so low. It's so difficult to grade that sticker. Like I said, centering has to be perfect. You see many raw cards or raw stickers where the centering is really poor. Other thing that's a bit personal, I think that the look isn't really that great of the sticker. Like for me, it's a bit boring. But yeah, I could see that from another point of view, 15 to 20 years from now, the photo he has on the sticker could be kind of nostalgic for sure. So yeah. That's for that sticker. Be cautious with it, but after all, people are already paying more than $1,000 for the PSA 10 graded sticker. So yeah, the market at the end is talking the truth. Another card we already mentioned, and which is pretty exciting, is his 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga, currently selling at $630 for the PSA 10 graded version. I mean, it's the more affordable PSA 10 out of these two, which is interesting for me. It's not his rookie card, that has to be mentioned. He's already at Dortmund on this card. Like you really see, it's not the Salzburg season. It's already the Dortmund season, meaning it's the same season, but after January, right? So in the second part of the season, you could say after winter. Yeah, but it is actually his first card in a Dortmund jersey, and it is his first card in Bundesliga, in the German Bundesliga. I personally like the aesthetics of this card, and I think what also is a critical factor here is that Topps Chrome is relatable for the US market, right? You have that in other sports. Yeah, I think for basketball and baseball for sure, you have Topps Chrome as well. So I think that's a critical factor here, which after all makes it for me a really solid investment. Another card I wanted to draw your attention to here is the 2019 Topps Finest, which is currently selling at $535 for the PSA 10 graded version. So that's still like $100 lower than the Topps Chrome Bundesliga card. And what's interesting for me here is that on this card, he is still at Salzburg. So this is 100% still his Salzburg time, his really like rookie season. It's his Champions League rookie card, you could say. Like really the first card that is printed of him in a Champions League jersey for Salzburg. There's another sticker as well for the Champions League version. I personally like this card better. And yeah, it's definitely earlier than the Topps Chrome Bundesliga. And for me, it's a bit overlooked because you see as well, aesthetics for me, super nice. It's also a relatable product. It's Topps Finest. And yeah, super low pop as well on the PSA report. You can see you have only 160 cards graded for this one. So for me, more affordable than the rookie sticker, more affordable than the Topps German Bundesliga and earlier than the top German Bundesliga, which for me makes it interesting. Now I'm interested, what do you think? Are you going to invest in Erling Haaland, or maybe you have already invested? If so, in which cards or in which sticker have you invested? Please let me know in the comments. Super interesting to know for me. And also, I would be really intrigued to know, how did you like this episode of the Investment Potential Show? Was it of value for you? What is your feedback for the show? Does this help you and does this support you in your investment decisions? Does this bring value for you? If so, please let me know. I'm also open for every kind of feedback or critique. I can't read your minds, but I would appreciate if you put me a comment down below the video and let me know what you think of the show, so I can further improve it and bring value to you as a sports cards investor interested in soccer. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure for me as well, talking about such an exciting prospect today. And I will see you in the next episode of the Soccer Card Investing Investment Potential Show.